Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here and welcome back to Civilization 6 as Byzantium. Things are going relatively well. We have managed to fully defeat Nubia and we've got a few little barbarians to deal with, and I think there's a couple of settlers up here in the fog of war that we could snatch for ourselves. The most important thing though is that we need to take out the Maya. We will get Palanque for our city here when it flips independent. The big problem we're having is spreading our religion because they're just not putting units out in the open for us to kill, so if we could solve that problem, things will become a lot easier for us. Now, people are starting to denounce me because I'm building up a large amount of, grievances with the world. But I think I might be able to snatch a kill. I don't know if you move enough here. Can you get that? Oh, just barely. Maybe I could do a little bit of a switcheroo here. If I tap you and then tap you. There we go. There's the conversion we were looking for. Now, it was in Johannesburg and not in the city that we were originally looking for. We might lose a single tagma here. I can't tell. One thing I would love to see from Civ in the future is if I could click. This is something I loved about Old World, is I could click on an enemy unit and see what they could hit based on where I would move them. So it would be really, really nice if I could click on my enemy's troops and just see how far they can move and how much damage they can do. It would let me just kind of figure out what might happen in a game. And I think that would be a really, really nice addition to the game. It's the kind of stuff that you don't really think about it until you've seen it before. And then you're like, oh, of course that makes sense. Of course that should be in the game. Like, obviously, this is just a good thing. But speaking of good things, the nice thing about Tagmas is if they're adjacent to each other, they do a lot more damage. You can see here, he goes up to 57 combat strength from being adjacent, because Tagmas actually give each other +4 combat strength when they're within one tile of a Tagma. So Tagmas actually stay relevant pretty late into the game. Ooh, nice. I'm starting to get access to Rout. Rout is really, really powerful. An extra 5 combat strength against units that are already damaged. Pretty pog. So we have decent flanking here. Why am I not getting flanking on this guy? Surely I should be getting flanking bonuses. Am I stupid? Do Tagmas not flank? I have 3 units, which, well, I guess whatever. I won't question it. I won't question it too hard. Now, we have ourselves an apostle. Extra spreads, or, yeah, I think I will go ahead and evangelize here. Choose a belief. There's nothing here too useful. Stupas seem quite handy. Pagodas, or mosques rather. I think mosques would allow me to just more faith efficiently spread my religion outside of kills. But I think some of these apostles were meant to go to the front line. I could also launch an inquisition, but I don't need to do anything like that until pretty late into this era. Okay, we have some promotions. Let's kind of retreat gently back and take the anti-ranged unit promotions. So we're not in quite a full retreat here, but we are kind of stepping back to take a few turns, and then we'll come back and begin attacking with renewed vigor. So I think I don't care about this holy site or this barb camp over here. I'm going to go ahead and just let that sit by the wayside and start moving all of my troops to the front line. In particular, any of the Tagmas that are hanging around here that haven't quite made it to the front. Military emergency. This one might actually pass because a lot of people don't like me. So I'm expecting that one to pass, but it's not the end of the world if it does. It actually failed. Okay, I'm very, very lucky then. Right, let's go ahead and attack that crossbow. I can't quite get that settler, but I might be able to snatch it next turn. I think the big thing in Kawa is actually to get ancient walls in here. Can I faith purchase a unit or something? You know, maybe I can faith purchase like a crossbow or something, or a trebuchet. Maybe a trebuchet will do the job. Now, I would love to send some of my Tagmas over to the mountain, the Matterhorn, but I don't have a road there yet at all. In fact, I don't have a road at all. So the big thing would be to get like an encampment and maybe a military engineer or two. So my Tagmas are starting to heal up, and I will have more reinforcements coming. I do have a couple of entertainment hippodromes finishing soon. There's diplomatic service. We now have access to spies. I will want to get my spies. That will be a priority for me. Not quite right now, but like in the near future. Well, actually, here's the thing. If I get my spies, the sooner I get my spies, the sooner I get the combat strength bonuses from having higher visibility. I should totally pick up printing if I can. But first I'm going to work my way towards cuirassiers. Or, well, printing is like, it's 3 combat strength actually, whereas I'm going to have a hard time making use of cuirassiers. I think I'll go for the, let's commit to the cuirassier. We're already 14 turns, and then we'll go for printing. I think we'll try to get the tech upgrade on the unit first. So I want to try and kill this crossbow. Don't think I'm going to be able to. If I attack with this Tagma, I won't kill him, unfortunately. But maybe I can get my missionary over to get a tap on the city. We'll see, it might work. Alright, let's clear this barb camp. That will net me 30 gold and, more importantly, get rid of that barb camp. Now, killing a crossbowman is not an easy task when only 2 of my horsemen are in range. But I think I can get them. There we go. Not quite enough spread. There we go. Now we converted the city. So now we have the plus 10 combat strength inside their borders, which should be the difference maker when it comes to obliterating their units. Because now, even though he's in static fortifications, even though he's a fortified defense, and he has intel, great general, and he's getting combat strength bonuses, we've like overcome that now. The next big kill will be this man-at-arms in enemy territory. And that should be, I refuse peace. My goal here is to break the Mayans. So it's a minor defeat for all of my attacks in this guy, but I should be able to do it. God, where's that settler going? That's so annoying. Imagine if I had all this land with that settler. Build a Petra there, be a god. Build a Petra, be a god should honestly be my channel motto. So Cobra is now available for attack, but let's just take a turn, get everyone healed up. Most of my units will be ready to attack on the next turn, so we'll just take a turn just to rest up. I want my units to be nice and healthy. It's important that I preserve my army. I know I have like 1,200 combat strength, but believe me, that just means I have a lot of units. It doesn't mean I have strong units. Okay, so number 1 enemy is this crossbow. I will attack with you, kill with you. There we go. And next turn, the city of Koba falls. Wasn't that the name of the one of the apes from Planet of the Apes, Koba? I feel like that was one of their names. He was like Caesar's right-hand ape, who kind of turned a little bit, he was corrupted a little bit by his hatred of the humans. Which, I mean, is fair enough. I mean, considering what the humans did, they kind of set him off. Okay. So step 1 is positioning, is getting my units into position around the city of Koba, so we can actually take it. And then we'll probably want to hit Johannesburg as well really, really quickly after that. There's a couple of nice wonders in here as well as just generally good districts. I could go pillaging if I wanted to. Like, there's definitely pillageable resources here, mostly for faith, but faith pillaging isn't super useful, I don't think. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not what I need right now. I'm going to wait a turn. I would have hit the city of Koba with like 3 or 4 units rather than just 1. Unfortunately, the Mayan army is just completely crumbled, so I have nothing to attack and kill, which is not ideal. It's like the AI knows the counter to me, is to just not have units in the area. So only 3 of these guys could attack. I think 3 is a reasonable number, plus I can pillage for gold too, and still potentially attack next turn. Yeah, let's start hammering the city now. We'll bring that health right down. I'm popping down like random cities just so I can build hippodromes to get free units because they're so cheap, right? Like a hippodrome costs 100 production, a Tagma costs 200. This is just like a really efficient way to boost my empire's military score. 100% production towards entertainment complexes, but realistically, I would take city centers. Otherwise, I just would like extra gold for, I don't know, Egypt seems fine. I don't really care too much about what happens in the World Congress. That's not a big deal to me. Yeah, okay. These are reasonable. We have humanism, we're working on enlightenment, and we're only a few turns away from nationalism. Our culture is a little bit, it's a smidge weak, but that's not a big deal. This city is officially dead next turn. So how's Johannesburg going? We can break Johannesburg very, very quickly, even though it has a massive combat strength bonus over us. So we're finally getting to tap the Matterhorn with my Tagmas now, which will give them a little bit of extra mobility and combat strength. They have accumulated a whole lot of bonuses here. Pretty impressive, actually. I'm going to pop a spy into Uxmal, specifically so that I can do a listening post action, which will give me +1 diplomatic visibility with Maya, which is +3 combat strength. So that's like the first key use of spies is in military matters. Like, spies are just good. I usually neglect them because I'm usually winning without them. I do expect to start losing the occasional unit to things like this, right? We see the occasional enemy cavalry unit popping out to say hi. But it should be fairly straightforward for me to actually conquer a bunch of land. Now, cavalry are a little bit annoying and difficult to deal with, but if I get a full surround on them, then it becomes significantly easier. I am now Suzerain of Nazca, which does allow me to build Nazca lines, and there's a decent amount of deserted territory that I could make use of those on. Also, by capturing that city, I got another military policy slot, so I can kind of change around my government a little bit. I don't think I need oligarchic legacy or monarchic legacy, but maybe plugging in serfdom let me actually improve my empire a bit, improve my economy, sustain my late game, because I am building the occasional builder, like for my capital and stuff. And if the builders that I do get are higher quality, that just means my entire empire gets better at a faster rate. Now we have access to niter, and we can also start to get bombards. We also are running up against pike and shot cores, which is going to start posing a pretty difficult challenge for us. So the big key thing that we lack here is nationalism. If we had nationalism, I think we'd be much more effective at fighting this. The 92 combat strength unit. Damn. Now you imagine if I didn't have so much trouble fighting Nubia, I get to Maya 5 or 10 turns sooner. How much easier it is to actually win that war, right? It really just goes to show you how a very, very small perturbation in the game can make the game really hard. I still think I can win the war relatively easily. It's just that it will take more time. It'll be more difficult than it should be. Quote unquote should be. I think I will faith purchase a bombarder to join the front line. It just seems sensible to me to have a couple of bombards up there. Ooh, look at those Nazca lines. Now, if you don't know, Nazca lines are actually a really interesting and unique improvement. Oh, Nazca. They give you +1 faith to adjacent tiles and an additional faith to tiles with resources, +1 food to adjacent desert and desert hill tiles after you discover civil service, and +1 production to adjacent flat tiles after researching mass production. So they actually increase the amount of food and faith in a desert by quite a bit, to the point where like a Petra somewhere here 100% just makes sense. Now, I would really like the Petra over here. This is like the perfect Petra city. Which, you know, if that's the perfect Petra city, then I should find a city with good production and build a settler to send to the perfect Petra city. Because my plan was to take the settler and build a Petra, but that didn't quite work out for me. We are hitting a little bit of a stalemate, but that's okay. We'll break it eventually. It's just a matter of time. Now, my hope is once I have cuirassiers, this will significantly increase my power level. +10 combat strength should be more than enough to overcome the current problems I'm having. And I do have a decent amount of gold stacked in the bank. And then once I hit nationalism, that'll be a +20 combat strength total. So the timing of both of those coming at relatively the same time, and then a quick follow-up with printing, I should see in the next 20 to 30 turns my combat strength significantly increase, and I should be able to maybe start making progress again. That's the hope. That's the dream. I do have available another district in my capital, and I have 4 pretty important districts in there. I could go for the Diplo Quarter. I could go for a commercial hub, a theater square. The Diplo Quarter would be helpful long term. Commercial hub would give me a lot of extra gold to play with. The Diplo Quarter is just good because it lets you get more city-state interactions. How important are city-states? I think the Diplo Quarter is like the easy, obvious choice here. And I should totally move Magnus now to somewhere where there's a lot of chops, like Antioch. And look, maybe to start spamming a few builders in here. Let's grab all of the choppable tiles in the area. Okay, so we've got like a decent number of chops in here. Sinop has a hippodrome. I don't need many more holy sites. I think I would be far better off served by things like commercial hubs, because that's the big thing that I'm lacking. Also, I think I somehow... Did I pick up from somebody the Machu Picchu? I think I did. I think somebody I conquered had built Machu Picchu. Yeah, there it is. Okay. That's quite handy. I think trading with Cahokia is my best source of gold, so I'll have to start doing that to make up for the fact that once I start building cuirassiers, my gold income is going to start getting like absolutely demolished once again. The good news is I'm making work of this encampment. I'm leveling up my bombards. God, that is a terrifying musketman. Now that is a pretty damn nice +5 industrial zone. Very nice. Alright, we're taking some losses on the front line here, but it's mostly down to these goddamn units. Why are they so strong? 65 base strength. Ironically enough, being inside my enemy's territory makes me stronger, which might be the key to fighting them here and going on the aggressive. I'm just waiting for next turn. Next turn I'll be able to get cuirassiers, and then the game should change significantly for me. We'll no longer be scraping the bottom of the barrel hoping that we can damage them. I do expect, actually, there's a good possibility here that I lose Koba. That's something you have to be mentally prepared for. Okay, finally, cuirassiers are online. Let's start upgrading them. May as well get a few pillages in with the ones that are behind enemy lines, but here we go. Here we go. Now the combat looks a little bit more in my favor. It's not quite there yet, but it's kind of almost there. More cuirassiers. Now, keep in mind, every single one of these I upgrade also eats into an extra gold per turn. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows here for me. I just wish there was any way for me to get extra, like, to get extra culture. It's just like, it's the thing I lack the most is culture right now. But I'll take extra amenities. I got a ton, and I mean a ton of amenities. To the point where most of my cities are actually quite happy, which is helpful. So we've reached a turning point in terms of my empire, which I'm very, very happy about. It's a step in the right direction. Everything is starting to come online. The big thing is I need to find pillages. If I can find pillages for gold, which are not in abundance here, there's an occasional mine. If I can find a few extra pillages, this would go a long way to actually building up my military. This is a major defeat, but I could take a pike and shot off the battlefield. That's the critical thing there. And that does seem like it's worth it. To trade a cuirassier for a pike and shot corps. Wow, that did not trade how I thought it would. It would be nice to take this encampment off the board too, actually. So that's one city shot and an enemy cavalry taken out. I think I am going to take this pike and shot off the board as well. Plus it triggers a burst of pressure in the area too. I'm expecting to lose this cuirassier, but I think trading a cuirassier for a pike and shot is like a valuable trade. Honestly, any trades I can get right now are valuable because she has like a stupidly annoying high combat strength army. So I need to like take them off the board. Another military emergency has been triggered. Don't know if this one will go through though. Well, it looks like it did, and I'm at war with Lady Six Guy and Canada. Canada's quite far away, although they are in range to potentially be annoying. This is how America feels on every day. Canada is in range to be annoying. One thing I should do is make sure I'm keeping Tagmas around to give reasonable combat strength boosts to my units. And now I need to start faith purchasing cuirassiers. Where is Victor? There he is. Well, ideally Victor would be in, Victor would be established in the other city. So I'm going to go ahead and move Victor over to Amazia. And then the second district that Amazia will build will be an encampment right here. So I can build 2 units a turn that can tap the Matterhorn. But that'll be obviously after the arena is done. But I suppose until then, we may as well start... Well, I need more iron. That's the big bottleneck I'm running into is iron. Are there any more iron mines actually in my empire? That would be a good question to answer. There's a little bit of iron here. So where's my nearest builder? You go there. There's a little bit of iron here. I will grab that in the near future. Because iron's going to be my bottleneck for making Tagmas. Tagmas and faith purchasing cuirassiers. And gold is also going to be a bottleneck, so I need to get as much gold as possible. So I burnt through a large portion of my army, which was probably a mistake, but I'm okay with that mistake. I can replace it relatively quickly in the near future. And I have a gang of Tagmas coming from the north. I definitely played it like inefficiently. Like waiting was obviously the correct play, but I also, waiting also is the incorrect play because it gives more time for my enemy to organize their army. So it's kind of a, I'm in a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. What I absolutely don't want are like enemy units to get away with kills and then be able to escape, which is kind of the situation I've put myself in now. Which has made this honestly really bad. Not a good situation to be in, to give your enemy a chance to escape. The nice thing is now when I build arenas, I actually get cuirassiers for free. So that's why I'm continuing to try to settle and make them. Let's keep on making a few bombards for the front line. Victor is now established in here, so I can start faith purchasing cuirassiers with a free promotion, who will also get alpine training. Very, very nice. I think I can kill this guy. Oh, I needed to kill it with a unit to get the faith spread? God damn it. God damn it. How unfortunate. It'll be 5 turns before we can continue this war in earnest, really. We just need nationalism, unfortunately. No two ways about it. Without nationalism, we can't advance. Then the natural next step for me is, of course, to pick up oil and head towards tanks. At least I hope that is pretty obvious why that's a natural step, right? It's heavy cavalry, etc. I do have to say this, though. As strong as heavy cavalry are, they have literally the worst promotions in the entire game. I feel like their promotions are just, well, they're just not very good. They don't feel good to use or upgrade. I'll be real with you. I think they're terrible. Okay, Canada has arrived with what are hopefully easy units to kill. It looks like he's just got coursers, which should be like trivial for me to murder. But now we have nationalism, which should now trigger a significant change in my empire. Pillage, combine, 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 combine. Let me do a little bit of a rearrange here, and then I'll buy myself a bombard, like so. Now I have 2 bombard cores. I have a couple of tagmas roaming around. My overall military score should go down, but that's at a trade-off of increasing the individual military score of every unit in my army. So my overall strength, like in total number of units and the total combat strength of all of my armies, will go down. But again, like the overall strength will go up. Like, look how useless these warrior monks are. I wouldn't have been able to make, like, warrior monks are just so terrible. It's so terrible. It's such a bad unit. Let's take 2 arms here, so we can declare special casus belli, and may as well make use of that at some point this era. And now we just go straight for mobilization. Now we want to go to the next tier of combining units, I think. Not too many of these really matter to me. I'll just grab Liang for another loyalty stick. The big thing I lack is mercenaries. That's actually slowing down my unit upgrade speed, so I should probably pick that up. It would have been more efficient. I would have been able to upgrade twice as many tagmas, but I just needed those cuirassiers real quick, which is why I didn't do it. It was a short-term play to get to this point faster, where I can actually now push, because now my cuirassiers like basically ignore damage from these cities, and they can punch through them like exceptionally easily. Like, look at that, 2 heavy cavalry hits, we take out half the city's walls. That's unheard of levels of power. And now we can move bombards into position to also assist, because they're bombard cores and not vulnerable normal bombards. Yeah, it should just be obvious, like, why what I did was useful and powerful, in the sense that, like, if you imagine the way the game could have gone, right, where I went for mercenaries before nationalism, and I have that big gang of units bearing down upon me with no cuirassiers to answer it, I would have been in a much worse place than I am right now. So I think, all things considered, it's hard to get better. Like, where this game went wrong, right? And this is what you'll find a lot in disaster games, and this is kind of a disaster series actually now at this point, is at some point there was like some setback, like 20 turns, like it was actually like 80 to 90 turns ago. It was the war with Nubia, went a little bit slower than it should have, and now it has meant that I've been in this like stalemate here for the last, I don't know, when did I start this episode? For the last 30 turns. So it took me 30 turns to break this stalemate just by stacking bonuses. Like, there was no point in me attacking. I just needed to sit back, build up my strength, and get ready. But now we're there, and in the next episode, we should see cities start to fall, like, bang, bang, bang. We should see them all, like, start to collapse really, really quickly. Especially because we should be able to move up, and Egypt should be a relatively easy target for us, because they have a relatively low amount of science, a relatively low amount of culture. So I should be able to take out 2 or 3 more Mayan cities, and then hit Egypt really, really hard, and then move down to finish off Maya and Arabia and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to be pushing towards Egypt, because they'll be a much easier kill. And I believe also Egypt has a holy city, which will, if I convert it and conquer it, it'll give me another +3 combat strength across my empire for my units. So that'll be another step towards victory. But that's going to be it for this episode. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.